Hey guys, how's it going? It's Alpha here. Thanks for joining me for another Puzzle and Dragons video. We are tackling a Legend Plus Descent here, the Devil's Domain. And this is a pretty challenging dungeon. You have some pretty high HP monsters to deal with here. The first couple stages can be a little forgiving. You can see you start with Corpse Worm, who is on a 2-turn countdown. So that's always good. He does have a Poison Skyfall, but it's only a 5% increase. So you're not going to get the board flooded with poison. So you can see here, I actually do have a board I can activate on here, but I go ahead, see I commit a cardinal sin here, which is to match not on the edges, and because I didn't have the light combo up at the top, am I pointing the right way? Up at the top, I had to work a diagonal, which killed my time, and I finished that combo about a ½ second short of getting a full multiplier, which was kind of a bummer because now I've got a board I cannot activate on, and the Corpse Worm starts hitting for 27,000 on each turn. So his default is 27,000 and changing to jammers, and under 50%, 27,000 and changing to poison. So it would just leave me in a point where I'm getting my board constantly messed with, so I wouldn't be able to activate, and I have to constantly heal. So I go ahead and use a Dark Kali. Not a place you want to be when you're starting up a dungeon. But you can see here, I go ahead and hit my 64x multiplier, and down goes the Corpse Worm. So I have to use a Dark Kali active, but with a max skilled monster, my Dark Kali is going to be back up when I need her later in the dungeon. So the second stage is a random draw. I draw the Kraken, who goes ahead and he does a preemptive wood bind, which my wood card is Isis, is unbindable, which is very important because all my other colors are duplicates. I have more than one of each color, but not Isis. So if Isis were to be bound, I wouldn't be able to activate, not even a 9x attack. I go ahead and very nicely make a complete mess of that board. Just something, you know, I do for fun every once in a while. But here I kind of get lucky. I have a board I can activate on. So, and you can see the Poison Skyfall is really not hampering the boards here. So I decided to start from the top, which is not something I normally do. I would typically start from the bottom, but just the way the board was set up, starting at the top was a little easier. I had some of the shapes that I look for in the orbs sitting up at the top, so I knew I'd be able to get a few quick matches before I headed down to get the final matches I needed for the full 64x multiplier, which of course does have, it has, you know, a set multipliers worked in for God, so it's like a 144x total, but whatever, for sake of discussion, 64x is what shows up on the screen. Okay, so here we go with Mephisto. So he has a bit more hit points than some of the other guys we're just facing. We're up to over 4.5 million, and he will go for a status shield for 4 turns, so you can try and survive and bind him, but obviously not really what I'm looking to do. I try and set up for a Skyfall over on the left side of the board, but I end up just getting a light Skyfall elsewhere, which gets me my 9x attack. So under 75%, he goes for that God Bind, which he just did. So he binds Indra, who's the only bindable card on this team, which is pretty awesome, I have to say. And since I don't need a shield right now, it's not a big deal. If I did need a shield, I could use Isis, so I'm really sitting in a pretty good spot. So I go ahead and I start matching up here, and unfortunately, you can see I go, and again, I run out of time because I'm working some diagonals and not really matching up the way I really should be, and I don't quite get him to the 40% without those extra matches I could have made down at the bottom. So that's why he does his 9,000 attack and blinds the board. But the way I like to work blinds is I'll look at the shapes, so you know the squares are your hearts. In this case, you have kind of like the spiky looking things are the poisons. I go from the top to the bottom, then I try and work my combos from the bottom to the top. And the reason I do that is that when you're matching the bottom, you're going to get your Skyfalls, and you set up a good chance for Cascades And you can see that's a perfect example of exactly that happening, because you see I just got 2 extra matches out of the Skyfalls and Cascades because I matched the bottom and the top shifted favorably for me on that. Okay, so now we're facing Satan. He has got a buttload of HP. If there's one monster with a buttload of HP, it is, well, I guess Arena Kali, but Satan too. But anyways, you can see here I do not have a board I could activate, and I can't even hit my 9x attack because I can't match up water, I can't match up hearts. I'm not even really trying to get too many matches here. I didn't set up my vertical water and hearts to hopefully receive a Skyfall. So you can see his first turn here, he just does his status shield. So not too big of a deal. He hits you with the 9,000 preemptive, and then he does his status shield. So you get a free turn. Now, the way Satan works is he'll go 2 times. He will do his 6,000 attack and bind 1 sub. Now, more often than not, I am not going to have my sub bound as a result of having unbindable cards. And unfortunately, right there, I didn't even set myself up for a good Skyfall, but I still was able to get a 9x attack, so I'm whittling away a bit, but with 6.6 million, it's not really not really going to get the job done without the full multiplier. So I have one more turn of Wave of Fear, which is his 6,000 attack with the sub-bind. And then after that, he hits World Ends, which is his 68,000 attack. But I can't really set up my good board here. Not that I need to. Right now, I don't really need to. But you can see here, once again, I have 2 dark, I have 2 light. These poisons are starting to take over the board a bit because I haven't been matching them. So I'm kind of in a tricky situation here because I can't use my Dark Kali, which I would like to, because Beelzebub sets up entire boards of poison that you have to be able to get away from. So you either need someone that will convert poison, or you need an entire board changer. So either someone that will refresh the board or set a new board for you, which is, you know, what Dark Kali does. So right here, I know I can't use my Dark Kali, like I just said. I'd be setting myself up because Beelzebub will make 2 boards worth of poison at some point when you're facing him. So the safe play here was to actually use my Indra Shield and go after, there we go. So we actually do manage to make a 64x attack here. And we're going to take out Satan. But had we not, I would have been able to absorb the World Ends attack, so it wouldn't have been that bad. So here you can see Beelzebub's attack does pretty much nothing because I have Indra's 75% shield up, and Dark Kali will set up a board which will guarantee a Raw Dragon activation. There's at least 3 of every type of orb, which is, you know, why she is the key sub for Raw Dragon. And after using his active, you know that I have just tons of time to match up there. And we go ahead and make a 7 combo with a 64x, light on dark, and that's going to be enough to take out Beelzebub. So there you go, guys. There's Devil's Domain. It's a challenging dungeon. If you start falling into, you know, getting stuck with some of the poisons, some of the jammers, if you have to tank some of those hard hits, it's a pretty tough dungeon, but with a great team here or so, you know, some solid combo skill, you can work your way through it. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy. Be sure to follow me on Camcord as well, where I'm Alpha Pad as well, and I'm doing some live streams. I'm actually, right when I'm finishing recording this video, I'm about to hop into a live stream. Not when I'm posting it, but I'll let you know. I typically try and stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday around 5 o'clock Eastern, and not all 3 of those days, but, you know, 1 or 2 of those days during the week. I try and do a bit of streaming, so I'm about to hop into that now. So I'll see you guys in the next video and maybe live in the stream. See you then.